Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nurul Fariha binti Abdurrahman Muhammad, and today I will explain about Google. Google LLC is an American global technology business which was previously known as a corporation. Google is known for its internet-related services and products such as online advertising technology, a search engine, and cloud computing. Google was founded on September 4, 1998 by Larry Page and Sergey Brin while they were PhD students at Stanford University in California. Google currently is one of the leading technology organizations across the world. Its innovative work environment and impactful HR practices have made it a favorite employer and one of the best organizations to work for globally. In 2015, Google was reorganized as a wholly owned subsidiary of Alphabet Incorporated. Google is Alphabet's largest subsidiary and is a holding company for Alphabet's internet properties and interests. Over 70% of all online searches are handled by Google, making it a central part of almost everyone's online life. As an online search company, Google has grown to include more than 50 online services and products under its roof. Since its inception, Google has expanded rapidly, introducing new products, acquiring companies, and forming strategic alliances, in addition to its main search engine, which is also known as Google Search. And the company services and products included Gmail, Google Docs, Google Drive, Google Translate, and many more. Now, we move to the staffing organization challenges. The first challenge that Google faces is rapid staff growth. Every year, Google receives a record number of job applications due to the company's widespread recognition and the attractive salaries and benefits it offers to its employees. There was a glut of employment application when Google led the world's most popular companies list, and it was unable to handle the influx. It was reported that in 2020, Google expects to have more than 100,000 employees in the company. This indicates that Google is experiencing the rapid staff growth. Other than that, Google also seems to have a problem in keeping their personnel engaged. No one should be surprised, given Google's monopoly over its industry and the lack of any competition to serve as a motivator. The practical facts of daily life at Google were revealed in interviews with former Google employees. Former employees say that many staff are likely to leave since they don't believe their efforts will have the same impact as they did when the company was founded. This discovery has reinvigorated momentum for technology workers, as many of Google employees reportedly recruited after years of campaigning, despite efforts to squash the union by the bosses. As a top company, Google is likewise dealing with issues concerning skepticism among its employees. Workers protested Google's treatment of sexual harassment accusations and its work on constructing a filtered search engine for China at a shareholders' meeting in June. A Chinese search engine, Project Dragonfly, was rejected by Google in July. The suspension of two co-workers for alleged internal activism was met with protests among the employees in November. It was also believed that the two employees were placed on administrative leave for breaking company regulation regarding access to sensitive internal documents and calendar events tracking. But other employees argue that the documents in question were not classified and monitoring public calendar events is not a violation of business policy, and the two were unjustly punished because of their involvement in worker activism at the company. Next, Google's financial benefits to their employees are also a factor in the company's staffing challenges. Basically, Google provides a wide range of benefits, including generous cash pay and programs that help our employees maintain financial stability. Google offers a comprehensive regional retirement plan and 401k, as well as annual cross-company salary equity analysis and modifications, as well as student loan repayments and one-on-one financial guidance. They opted to take an early retirement due to the great financial rewards they receive from their positions. According to the report, Google is also losing highly qualified employees who could have a significant impact on the company if they stay on. And the last challenge is, Google had a hard time keeping female employees a few years ago. Companies like Google face severe competition from digital heavyweights like Microsoft and Amazon for the best high technology personnel, making it difficult to locate qualified candidates. These gregarious and qualified female employees attracted Google's attention since they were so outgoing. At least, some of the new mothers who work at Google do not believe they need the resource or assistance necessary to succeed both at work and at home.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. I'm Anisra binti Ayu. I will cover the recruitment and selection practice in staffing model of the Google company. I will explain the 4 elements of staffing model. First is quantity level. Google has recorded more than 100,000 employees in 170 cities that indicate huge of employment recruitment, and Google is one of the companies that has largest headcount. Since a few years ago, Google made its workforce evolve in double size of quantity employees. The company become reluctant to eliminate weak team members, therefore the organization will be overstaffed. The solution is they require to take steps to reduce the headcount and slow down the recruitment and make a forecast of the quantity of headcount needed. The second is person versus job match. According to Lisa Stern-Hannes, the senior recruiters at Google revealed the 4 fundamental skills that employees must have to get hired at the tech company, which is general cognitive ability, leadership, Googliness, and role-related knowledge. Googliness is value collaboration and working well in teams and navigating ambiguous situations. However, the tech position look at role-related knowledge, which she defined as the skill and experience that are needed to perform in a given role. The third is personal versus organization match. As we all know, Google is known for its organization culture and innovation at workplace. That comes from 3 factors, which is new knowledge, collaboration, and fun. So, the organization lays major emphasis on collaboration among employees from different functions as it believes that it fosters innovation. Lastly, active diversity. Google is committed to advancing a more diversity, accessible, equitable, and inclusive for everything they do. Therefore, Google are going through their hiring, promotion, retention, inclusion practice. Google took the way of approaching the diversity of the workforce as a responsibility and intended to create an initiative to expand the technology among the disabled, gender, and race communities. As you can see, the graph bar beside me shows that based on hiring by race, there obviously a very significant amount of employment between Black and Latin and among other races. In the year of 2021, women are still significantly fewer than men. That is why Google take initiative to give opportunity with sense of belonging to approach this unrepresented group joining into its organization company. I would like to highlight the important part in HR planning. Firstly, commonly managers use their intuition, assumption, and impression to identify employees who are likely to perform well or leave an organization. So Google used the algorithm-based management to help predict whether the candidate and organization fit will be achieved or not. So this helped to do away with subjectivity in the recruitment process. Google also used statistic technique, which is trend analysis, means a statistical technique that help a corporation to forecast future HR needs based on recent business condition and development. And the second is scenario analysis, means analyzing several combination of variables in order to forecast HR demand for each scenario that arises. Google also using contextual analytics by organization to analyze candidates' job application to assess fitment for a job, stability in career, attitude, behavior, and so on. While predictive analytics is used data analysis techniques such as predictive algorithm and data mining to forecast what may happen in future. For instance, predictive analytics can be used to forecast the change in staffing plans during organizational restructuring. Google also concerned about surplus or shortage of employees mostly in the production process, such as the manufacture of Chromecast. Last but not least, Google faced minimal problem when it comes to balancing HR supply and demand, especially in production and distribution of consumer electronics like Nexus and Chromecast. For this area, Google used a flexible strategy where new employees are hired based on forecast of human resource needs. I think that's all from me. I will pass to the next presenter. Thank you.
Job analysis refers to the systematic process of gathering all information about a particular job, including skills requirement, roles, responsibility, and processes to create an effective job description. Job analysis is an important step in ensuring the selection of suitable candidate in help employer in recruitment and selection, performance management, selection of compensation and benefits, and more. A large company like Google employs both worker-oriented and work-oriented job analysis method. The worker-oriented method is focused on the knowledge, abilities, skills that an employee needs to do a job effectively, while the work-oriented method is how to conduct a job and get a specific outcome. It's all about what employees do on the job and how they interact with equipment, tools, people, and information. Before Google hire people, they will set a particular qualification and decide what kind of qualities they want to be in a candidate. According to the Laszlo Bock, the Google's SVP for People Operation, he said that before beginning the process of recruiting, you need to set the high standard for the quality and make a list of the qualities that you desire in a candidate. The reason they set the high qualification for their employee that because they need to develop the apps and service, so they need the extraordinary candidate to make sure that they can generate the new idea. Not only that, Google also wants someone who can work under pressure, and they also want someone who loves their job because as we know, develop technology is not an easy job to do. If their employee can't have the strong mental ability, they will not be able to sustain in that company. In my opinion, that because the characteristic like smartness and passion for excellence very important because smartness refers to the ability for someone to handle the situation effectively, while passion for excellence refers to passion to create the best in the field they work. As we know, Google is an information technology company that aims to provide useful information and create the service that can be used by us easily. So that company needs the employee who are smart enough to identify the new opportunity and having the passionate to develop the best and convenient apps and service. That's why Google emphasized their employee to participate in their project and activity to make sure that all the employees can bring out the new idea and be creative so that they can come up with the brilliant idea to create the new apps and service. Recruitment is the finding, screening, and interviewing suitable employees to fill positions available in company. External resources are used to recruit candidates outside the organization, while internal recruitment recruits employees within the organization. Meanwhile, selection is the process of choosing or selecting the best suited applicant for a particular position. Google employs both indirect and direct recruitment strategy because of the mix of internal and external requirement, and the Google places greater emphasis on indirect approaches. The example of indirect recruitment is advertisement on the company's website. Meanwhile, Google's human resources department also employs direct recruitment strategy, which is involve existing connection with potential workers and through academic institutions workers. In my opinion, that because the Google already have more than 100,000 employees, so why they need to find the new potential candidate, and plus the cost will high and a lot of work they need to do if they want to hire the new candidate. Not only that, Google also have their own qualification of candidate they want, so it will take time. And if they want to hire a new employee, they need to filter all the candidates before the candidate can be in the organization. Plus, the Google need to run more than one interview, which is more than 3 interviews. So it will take time if they want to hire the new external candidate. In my opinion, that because Google have their own uniqueness, which means Google very concerned about their employees' welfare, which is Google want to create a stress-free life for its employees. The example of what Google provide for their employees, Google has gaming center, biological botanical garden, and eco-friendly cabinet. And this is to make sure that their employees are not stressed and will be happy to come to work. Googlers can travel without worries, and employees are covered with travel insurance and emergency assistance on both personal and work-related vacation. Google even offer the death benefits to deceased employee's family. If Google employee passed away, his or her domestic partner or spouse receive a check for 50% of the employee's salary every year for 10 years. So based on all the benefits that the employee got from the Google. So of course, many people will want to join them. And not forget to mention, Google also offer high salary to their employee. And that's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and a very good day to everyone. My name is Amira Natasha. I'm going to continue the decision making and final match used by Google company. Why decision making is important? Decision making is often an integral part of a leader's role in the workplace. Even if you are not in a leadership position, your ability to make decisions can still have a positive or negative impact on your work life as well as your company as a whole. Being able to effectively make good decisions can provide a number of benefits such as save time and resources, can prevent from mistake and risk, and also to improve productivity. The better you are at making decisions, the more success you can experience in your position. The effectiveness of the final match is quite challenging in real life because management of any large corporation will tell you that finding good, loyal talent is hard. Take time to develop a recruiting process that is constantly looking for people with the skills you need and the motivation to work for you. A good process not only find great employees but save your time on replacing and training new people. Google's culture may also be evident in their decision making. According to this report, decisions are made in group at Google. Typically, each problem is addressed by a number of small teams with employees striving to persuade one another using facts and rational reasoning. The way decisions are made is less influenced by gut feelings. In certain sessions, it appears that people are not allowed to say, I believe, and must instead using the data suggests ... To foster cooperation, employees work in open office environment with only a few granted private office. When a company set a premium on hiring the brightest workers, animus egos are almost bound to arise, making teamwork impossible. The hiring process at Google is incredibly tough, and applying for a job there is similar to applying to a college. Candidates may be asked to prepare an essay outlining how they intend to carry out their future duties. Many times, each candidate may be questioned by up to 8 individuals. Furthermore, according to several studies, Chiro has already emphasized the need of making judgment quickly. The first step in speeding up the decision-making process, he says, is to figure out how much time and effort each option is worth, who has to be engaged, and when we will reach a resolution. Chiro witnessed this firsthand while working at Google with Larry Page and Sergey Brin. The CEO of Google made it a point to be engaged in every key decision the firm made. This means that judgments were taken over a period of the time rather than on a daily basis. For Larry Page and Sergey Brin, it was a game changer. Google's success is due in significant part to the fact that it has the world's only data-driven human resource department. CEOs are starting to realize that continual innovation is impossible unless a company makes a strategy move toward exceptional people management. Google's strategy has resulted in incredible staff productivity outcomes. Managers are too afraid to make strategic decisions because it means diverting from the herd. A company that aims to be consistently beating the competition has got to get rid of the narrow-minded approach that our successful business is merely growing revenues faster than costs. Google has demonstrated that if a competitive advantage is formed based on unique practice and those advantages are regularly reinforced via new ideas and innovative practices, that will become very tough to stop. For final match slide, a final match happens when the offer receiver and the business determine that the person's knowledge, skills, ability, and other attributes, KSAOs, and the job criteria are sufficiently aligned. The organization and the candidates become bound by mutual agreement on the terms and conditions of employment once the decision to enter the employment relationship has been taken. Google is the world's largest and most popular searching engine, and as a result of its prominence, it offers very competitive wages and benefit to their employees. These are the reasons why Google received millions of job applicants. When Google company topped the list of the world's most popular firm, it could not handle the influx of applicants from thousands of job seekers. because Google's want to hire only the best people who fit the company's culture and value. It began looking for methods to enhance its recruiting and selection process. The management of Google company chose to focus on the particular behavioral features and personalities that distinguish Google workers from those of other well-known organizations. It moved the emphasis away from academic qualification and technical knowledge towards the applicant's personality, creativity, leadership abilities, and global exposure. Since then, Google company has gained a reputation for providing great and expensive work salary and perks to its employees. To recruit the greatest employees, Google offered them the promise of expensive salary, giving them with nearly everything they could possibly desire, from insanely high salary to the employees. One candidate who was interviewed by Google that has 5 to 7 interviewers in one day for 2-3 days in a row. That applicants claimed that the interviews were extremely difficult, involving brain teasers, puzzles, and IQ exams with some of the world's brightest individuals. Because interviewers were seeking for exceptionally intelligent people, the recruiting process included IQ exam, brain puzzles, data structures, and lots of tests. Google is known for various unique approach that it has utilized in order to attract the cream of the crop, or the best of the best. In 2007, employee turnover at Google was reportedly less than 5%, which was simply phenomenal. Another applicant who also has had experience in the recruitment process of Google claimed that his Google experience was one of the most nerve-wracking adventures of his life.
Next, we continue for suggestion for improving recruitment and selection practice. We move to the staffing flows. Staffing flows are needed in every organization. They should be planning all their strategic processes, typically led by the human resource team, that will identify the personal needs of the organization. As we know that human resource department is known as the people department, where it is the place that deals with human issue, resolve conflicts, and make sure everyone gets along. All the human resource team want the process or progress that have run must be smooth. So they must make sure that they have the right resources in the right place and at the right time, and at both short and long term. Human resource management will handle hiring a new employee, and they should choose the employees who have necessary skills that will meet the company goals. But sometimes there must be a problem or issue in hiring a new employee because they just realize that they don't have any necessary skills to meet the company goals, and then their recruitment process will suffer. So there must be a long-term staffing plan that the human resource team can use as suggestion in improving the recruitment and selection practice. Google's human resource must make sure that they write a detailed job ad. There are many ways and tips that they can use to put in a detailed job ad. Maybe they can use the description that is more noticeable and keep it as relevant. Not only that, but they can also create creative multiple ads that will attract the attention of others to apply the job and make it easy for them to understand what is required in the company to achieve the goals. These ads also have a specific requirement and easy for people to understand. Next, they must do candidate searching, which means by finding and qualifying candidates. With this suggestion, also they can improve in recruitment and selection practice because they will know both passive and active and know who have not applied directly to an open role. Searching is also an important way in recruitment to improve the quality of hiring. With the process, Google's human resource team will find those who have a talent that can be hired in available positions. Besides that, Google's human resource team can do a screening interview as a suggestion to improve the recruitment and selection practice, because the screening interview is a part of the job selection process that used by the employers to determine if an individual has the qualification for doing a job with the company. A strategic staffing plan will make the direction to the organization and can identify the skills that the company needs to support and achieve the company goals. Human resource can see the lack of necessary skill for the new employee and start to plan for action. This might involve hiring a new employee, or they can just decide to retrain and existing staff in a position needed. For the staffing methods or strategies, Google's success is based on its high quality human resource. Google's human resource management will always carefully select strategies and methods for the recruitment and selection to make sure that they are hiring a quality employee. Google's human resource management use a mixture of internal and external recruitment sources to maintain the adequacy of its human resource. Google uses promotion, transfer, and trainings as the main internal recruitment sources for human resource needs. For the external sources, Google includes educational institutions and responded to job advertisements. There are many suggestions for Google in improving recruitment and selection practice in staffing methods or strategies. This strategy is a plan for the human resource to keep easy to choose the new employees that have been required by the company. There can be internal and external methods that Google can use as suggestion so that the company can make sure that their human resource can recruit the quality and creative employees to the company. So let's see first for the internal. The following internal recruiting methods is the suggestion for Google's company to find an employee to fulfill the company goals and objectives. First is promotion. For this suggestion, to fill a higher level position, hiring managers could promote an existing employee. Because the managers already have to work together with the employee, the managers will know the employee's capabilities and special skills that they have. Second, temp to hire. Sometimes companies hire their employees to do the temporary work. Temporary employees can be hired on the full-time, which is often referred as temp to direct or temp to hire. Hiring temporary employee for the full-time in the company can result in more hours work, increased responsibilities, and higher pay. To know the skill of the temporary employee, the managers can test this temporary employee's skill before onboarding them for the full-time work. So last one for the external, human resource of Google's company can also use external recruitment methods to find the employees that must fill the required for the job that is provided by the company. There are several strategies in recruitment for improving the recruitment and selection practice for Google's company. This point can be used as a suggestion to make sure that Google will always keep up to date in recruiting and selecting the employees. For the external methods in recruiting and selection the employees, Google's company can use social media as a method that will help them to find an outside employee that will be responsible, very creative, and full of skill to the company. With this method, the employees will easily find the company and can fulfill the requirement that they have stated in the poster or else. Next, human resource management also can include the job opening on the website. So with these strategies, there will be many people who can see this advertising and will increase the number of interested job seekers to find job in the Google's company. The more candidates to fulfill the job, the more human resource can find a good match to the job required and the value of the employees.
Now, let's get into what management or administrations can do to improve the recruitment and selection process. The first one is to slow down on hiring new employees. It has been stated that Google received more than 100 applications from qualified job candidates. This is to ensure that the organization does not have an overabundance of workers, which could lead to further issues such as the requirement for extensive training that will cost a lot of time and money. Because of this, Google has to put a halt to its recruitment efforts and instead focus on educating its current employees. Google's management can also use an applicant tracking system (ATS) that is critical to a successful hiring strategy. Candidates can be tracked from application to offering letter using an ATS that automates communication to ensure that only the best candidates make it through. Perhaps even more essential, an application tracking system can show you where the vast majority of qualified candidates are coming from. Employers may make more informed decisions about where to focus their efforts and what kind of resources they should allocate based on this information. The next one is continuous communication. Candidates should be kept informed at every stage of the hiring and selection process. Google will lose other candidates if they rely on potential candidates only to do the work for them. There is a good chance that the best candidates will have multiple job offers, or at the very least, be on the attention of other companies. For those who have not heard from Google for some time, or who have no idea when they can wish to hear from them, they will not wait. To avoid having to start the search all over again, the management needs to remember to keep applicants at the top of their email and retain them as a feasible choice. Technology also can be used in order to remove bias and increase productivity. It is possible for Google to automate a large portion of hiring and selecting process. AI-based hiring tools developed by developers and HR specialists are on the way, and they will automate screening, optimize selection, and eliminate prejudice from the recruiting process. It is possible to deploy AI screening tools to save time for the staff and avoid bias. Candidate rediscovery technologies that help the management reconnect with prior applicants, and also chatbots that let them engage with new candidates more deeply. Last but not least, to optimize the recruitment process, a well-defined job posting is a smart idea. Candidates who realize their worth and want to make a significant impact through their work are put off by boring job postings. The greatest applicants are not just interested in the money, but they also want to make a significant influence on the company's bottom line. They would really like to know how they can help Google flourish. By discussing the role's value to business and how it might aid in its growth, a job description should convey this. This will offer the individual applying for the position a sense of importance and give them an idea of what is expected of them before the interview.
In a nutshell, decision making is defined in psychology as the cognitive process that leads to the choosing of a belief or a plan of action from among multiple available alternatives. Decision-making process results in a final decision which may or may not lead to actions, but they are a crucial phase in a person's personality development. The significance of decision-making resides in the way of it aids you in selecting among many possibilities. Before making a choice, it is necessary to acquire all relevant information and consider the advantages and disadvantages. It is critical to concentrate on actions that will assist you in making the best judgment possible. Although technology can assist people in making better informed and smarter judgments, it also exposes them to a variety of decision-making bias. Digital forgetfulness, the depth of technology's engagement, and the degree of emotional manipulation that technology may induce are all factors that might lead to such bias. Following our examination of the elements, we devised a theoretical model that can aid in determining if a certain technology supports or harms humans' decision-making. Google is recognized for its variety innovative technique to attracting the cream of the crop of the finest of the best. According to the Sullivan 2007, Google is without a doubt the finest recruiter in the world. Employee turnover at Google was believed to be less than 5% in 2007, which was incredible. People didn't want to quit because of the incredible advantage and allowance that the corporation provided to the employees. That's all from us. Thank you.